can the Tonemaster Pro effects hang with top-of-the-line boutique pedals? I just got this new Noble Screamer from Keeley Electronics. This is something new that just came out. It's supposed to be part vintage Noble's ODR1 and part vintage Ibanez Tube Screamer. And it's faithfully recreated in their vintage formats. And the reviews on this thing have been really, really great. So they sent one out for me to check out, and I wanted to put this to the test with the Fender Tonemaster Pro. So there's a couple of experiments that are going on in my mind here today. I've got the Tonemaster Pro set up right here where I've got the knobs and I can, tweak here. You're going to be seeing that on the screen. And I wanted to test out the Effects Loop 1, which is an analog effects loop that goes before the signal path, so there's no conversion or anything happening there. It's just a pure analog effects loop, which is supposed to have zero signal loss. And I also wanted to put it to the test with the Nashville Overdrive and the Greenbox, which are their basic respective versions. I've got each one in its own block, and I've got them tied to foot switches here so that I can switch back and forth between the two. So with the Noble Screamer, you have these dip switches on here that allow you to mix and match the tone stack and the clipping. So you can have ODR tone stack with Tube Screamer clipping or vice versa and mix and match as you choose. For today, we're going to stick to one or the other for this comparison demo video thing, whatever we're going to call this. So I'm going direct just so I can get the best representation of what this is going to sound like for you at home. And I'm using my Sir. Right now we're through the Deluxe, and here's everything bypassed, so nothing, no pedals are active. So we have all knobs at noon. Here is the Noble Screamer. So at noon, pretty close actually. There is definitely a weird high-end thing to the Tonemaster version because it's probably modeling the current production models instead of a vintage one, whereas the Keeley's going after the vintage vibe. The vintage is the coveted one. The reissues, realistically, are just not good. They have this weird hashy high-end thing to them that I feel like this recreates well, but it's not as good as the vintage sound. All knobs at noon, I think the Keeley so far has a nice smoothness to it. Doesn't sound like a pedal too much. It's more amp-like. So now I'm going to go to some settings that I would typically go for with my real Nobles. And we're going to go with the drive a little bit low. This is really meant to be a mid-gain type of thing. And this is the Spectrum knob, don't forget. So the Spectrum knob boosts the lows and the highs, keeps the mids pretty much where they are. So that's a very flexible knob if you're not used to that. And now let's match my settings on the Tonemaster Pro. So typically this is kind of a go-to setting when I use my real Nobles, and we're going to see how the Keeley and the Tonemaster stack up here. I've got a bunch of videos with my vintage Nobles, and I also want to do some comparing with the Noble Screamer. So if you're into the Nobles ODR1 circuit and you want to see more content, let me know in the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, if you're into that sort of thing. So here is my kind of go-to setting. First, let's start off with the Tonemaster Pro. So again, the Tonemaster Pro sounds more like a pedal. The Noble Screamer is going to be a little bit more amp-like, Let's just hit this with a little bit more level. And I'm going to do the same with the Nashville here. Turn up the level. So it's interesting. You get like a warmer sound, definitely, but maybe the Nashville Overdrive and the Tonemaster Pro might be a little bit better for single note stuff. Interesting stuff here. I got the gains matched up still. We got a little bit more drive. Let's see if I'm wrong here. Let's match that. Thereabout. Again, the Keeley's just much smoother sound, but the Nashville OD is not bad if you're looking for more single note stuff. So you could almost argue that the Noble Screamer gets muddy, which is a characteristic of the vintage pedal. That's why people use it with tellies, with brighter guitars, and a lot of times they'll combine it with another pedal to lop off some of that low end. When you have the Nashville OD and the Tonemaster Pro, you do have the option for this bass cut where you could turn this on and off. The bass cut's going to lop off some of that low end, so you're not getting such a huge push in the bottom. So there, the Nashville gets a little bit more pokey. It can stick out in a mix more. That might be your thing. It might not be. But as far as nailing the vintage sound, I think the Noble Screamer's sounding really exactly like my old one. And the Nashville OD doesn't sound bad. It does have that more high-end thing to it, but it's not a bad sound whatsoever. I still really like it. It's still going to be my go-to if I'm using the Tonemaster Pro. Let's now just do a higher gain setting. Okay, let's try to match that or get in the ballpark here. Got the drive 3/4, spectrum up. Man, I think we're pretty close with the gain up, huh? I'm curious to hear what this is going to sound like in post, because I think I'm fooling myself in my headphones right now. What do you think of those two next to one another? That's pretty spot on if you ask me. So definitely as we gain it up, I mean, I think the difference at least is negligible. Maybe there's a little bit of something in one or the other, but to my ear right now, I'm not really hearing it. I'm curious to hear it back in post. It's always different. I always will say an opinion in a video, and then I listen back and I'm like, oh shit. All right, so let's now move to the Plexi. So I'm going to go to my Plexi preset. Very good. Okay. So that's our crunchy Plexi sound. Let's hit it with the Keeley set to both are the Tube Screamer. We're still at the same. Actually, no, I can't. I got to reset here. So let's go back to our knobs at noon. And now we're on the Tube Screamer side of each. So we're going to go Tube Screamer versus Tube Screamer into the Plexi. Way closer. I mean, it seems like with both, with the gain at noon or higher, I mean, that's as negligible as you can get. So, seeming like a good boutique quality in the Tonemaster. I don't know, is there a little bit more smoothness to the real one? Is that the whole analog versus digital thing? Let's mess with a couple settings. Let's go with low gain, high level, and high tone. Hopefully pushing the edge of breakup amp into more overdrive state. Pull up these settings so you could see them. So now I just cranked up the front end of the amp, so now we're getting more gain. I just feel like there's an overall smoothness to the Noble Screamer. I don't think there's. I don't want to call it. It's not that it's a bad or a worse sound. Let's see if I. Maybe the tones just aren't like. Can't go wrong. I think both sound really good here. Let's now crank the drive up. Typically not how you want to go for a Tube Screamer vibe, but let's just do it anyway. Let's do what we're at 3/4 overdrive. The tone, we're going to go back to noon and see where we're at with that. I'm going to have to bring down the level to noonish. Again, higher gain sounds pretty spot on. Do you hear a difference? I think that's pretty damn close. And now a cool thing you can do with the Noble Screamer, you can now mix and match those settings like we said before. Obviously with the Tonemaster, you could do infinite things. This video, I really just wanted to test out the effects loop in here and then compare the effects of the Tonemaster Pro, see if it can hang with a top-of-the-line boutique pedal manufacturer that just made a pedal that's meant to be vintage Nobles and Tube Screamer. Shout out to Keeley for sending this out. This is an awesome sounding pedal. If you guys are looking for either a vintage TS style or vintage Nobles vibe without having to spend over $1,000, definitely go and get this pedal. And if you're somebody that's got the Tonemaster Pro and you like the way this comparison sounded, check out these pedals inside your Tonemaster Pro. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.